Hi, this is Rick Bice with Bice Fit Exercises on behalf of Edmonds Park and Recreation. Today we're going to go through a circuit training class. What we'll do is we'll alternate between strength training exercises for the muscles, bones, and connective tissues, and then cardiovascular exercise for the heart, lungs, and circulatory system. What we'll do, it's all timed, so what we'll do is we'll do a minute on an exercise. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll do another minute on the same exercise or something very similar, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So I'll call all those out as they happen. What you'll need for this exercise program today is a chair over here, maybe some light to medium dumbbells, and some resistance tubing or band. Maybe light or medium, whatever you have on that. With or without handles, doesn't matter on that. We will begin with a warm-up. We will go through the exercises, then we'll finish off with a cool down and then some stretches at the end. This is all at your own pace, so we strive for a minute's worth of work. If you need to take your breaks, quicker than that, or if by the end of the minute you're not tired or fatigued, you could just go straight through that break that we have. So it's all up to you, the kind of resistance you use, whatever works for your body. Make sure your surrounding area is clear, that you've got room to move around, arm's width sort of stuff at least. You have a proper footwear for the floor that you have. If you've got slippery hardwoods, make sure that you're wearing good shoes that aren't going to slip and slide. If you've got thick carpet, making sure that your feet aren't going to get, isn't going to get caught on the carpet or something and trip you up. So just being careful. All right, let's begin. Okay, here we go. We're going to start the warm-up. So let's start moving around here. Nice and gentle. We are just looking to get the heart rate pumped up just a little bit. A little more than normal. Barely break a light sweat. Not much going on here. We want to get some blood flow to the muscles. We want to mimic some of the movements that we'll be doing to get the joints ready for action. Stretch out the lungs a little bit, get our breathing up. Very gentle, very easy. We'll go for about 2 minutes or so. All right. Bend the knees. Again, nice and slow and controlled. Nice warm up, could be walking outside, walking up and down stairs. Maybe you've got a treadmill or bicycle or rowing machine right, in the same room with you. Maybe you've got dance moves from, classes you've been to, line dancing or swing dancing, whatever you've done. Other exercise classes, Zumba, whatever works for you. All right. Just a little bit here. Got about 30 more seconds and we'll move on to our first exercise. We'll take about a 30-second break or so before that happens in between cardio and the exercise here. Just keep moving. Consistent moving. Doesn't matter if it's slow or fast. It's whatever works for you. All right. About 5 more seconds. We'll take a break here. All right, here we have the squat with the hip extension, so grab your chair. All right, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to take a seat and stand back up, and then we'll do a hip extension. Take a seat, stand back up, hip extension. Okay, all right, so let's begin. So feet about hips width apart or so, hip to shoulder width apart. You're going to go down as far as you feel comfortable, sticking your rear out, weight on your heels, back up, and then you're going to extend the leg. It's kind of a diagonal, back and to the side, just a little bit, not enough to arch the back or really far. You're not going to lean over, but squat, just a small one, squeeze the cheek, small squat, squeeze the cheek on the other side, okay? Again, it's a small movement with the hip extension. Work on the glutes in the rear. So hold on to the back of your chair. If you want to do this freestanding, you can do that too. You don't have to hold on, it's all up to you. Keep breathing. Weights on your heels. And again, small movement. All right, let's take a break. Remember, how low you go is up to you. You don't want those knees going forward, right? So we want to sit back, sticking the rear out so that the knee is above the shoelace area as opposed to going forward, okay? So weight on your heels, toes maybe flared out barely. Head and chest are facing forward, up, and then just a small movement. All I'm doing, just bringing that hip back, foot back, leg is straight, squeezing the cheek on that side, and then planting, sit, and back. All right, let's go again. Another minute. The lower you go, of course, the harder it's going to be. Or if you want to do this freestanding and holding some dumbbells or something to make your weight a little bit more, or a weight vest. Keep breathing. Nice and deliberate movements, controlled. And we got about 25 seconds. Head and chest are always facing forward. You're not bending over and leaning over. Hips are just sinking down. All right, about 3 more seconds. All right, nice job. Okay, get rid of your chair and grab your resistance band. All right, incline chest press. So we can do this one arm or 2 arms at a time. I'll show you both. What I'm going to do is stand. My back foot is going to be standing on this. I'm going to step forward, a nice long step. Bring these out under my elbows. Lean forward, just hinging from the hips, and then straight up. I want to try to stand a thinner stance, okay? Feet are going to be more front and back as opposed to sides. That way, these tubing isn't going to rub against you too much. So remember to lean forward a little bit. Elbows will go down as far as they can. Wrists are always pointing forward and up. And you're going to push forward and up. So it's not, not straight up, not like a shoulder press. This is an incline chest press. We are getting more of the upper fibers of the pectorals of the chest. And then deltoids in the shoulder, triceps in the backs of the arms. Make sure the wrists and hands are neutral, meaning that they're straight. One more. All right, take a break. If your band isn't long enough or it's too much resistance to try to get all the way from your foot all the way up tall, one at a time, okay? That way you can kind of choose what resistance works for you, and depending on how long your band is, depending on how tall you are, just remember, weight's gonna be on that front leg, enough weight on that back leg, right? That band's not going to pop up. And then hinging forward from the hips. All right, let's start a second set. I'll do about 30 seconds on each chair just to show you this way also. And I'm going to hinge forward a little bit. Head and chest are facing kind of down slightly. But try to get that band behind you so it's a nice long step. Otherwise, it's too much up. All right, I'm going to switch. And again, just find that right spot on the band that works for you, especially if you're just doing it one at a time. Two at a time, you're going to want to be in the middle of that band so that each arm gets about equal amount of resistance if you can. Again, depends on how long your band or tubing is. Otherwise, one arm at a time works. Embracing the core. All right, nice. Okay, so get rid of this and grab a set of small dumbbells. 2, 3, 4, 5 pounders, whatever you have. We're going to do a bent over 1-2 row and a fly. Okay, so this is all upper back exercise. I'm going to bend over. If you want, you can do one foot in front of you just to kind of support you. Otherwise, feet together. We're going to hinge from the hips. Knees are going to be soft, just barely bent. Head and chest are going to be front ways. Okay, just kind of like what we did with the squat. Not like this, but here. So I'm going to lean forward, let the arms dangle. A 1-2 row. So 1 row, 2 row, and then a fly. Holding this position, 1 row, 2 row, and then a fly. All right, so keep breathing. Elbow goes back. You're going to squeeze the shoulder blade towards your spine. Okay, down, other side, down, and then a fly. Both arms go back, squeezing the shoulder blades towards the spine. Trying to keep the elbows fairly straight when you do that fly. They can be slightly rounded. Got about 12 seconds. Palms are going to face in, kind of towards each other and towards your opposite knee. Whoops, and then a fly. All right, take a break. And take a break anytime you want. I mean, we're shooting for a minute worth of work, but it all depends on the kind of resistance you have. If all you've got is 7-pound dumbbells or 10-pound dumbbells, this is going to be a lot tougher, and you may not make it a full minute. So it just depends on what you have to work with. A couple cans of soup, anything that you can grasp can work pretty well if you don't have any dumbbells. Dry hands, firm grip. You don't want to dump these on yourself. All right, so again, position, feet about hip width apart, hinging from the hips, leaning down, row, row, and a fly. Working upper back, middle back's getting some work, low back, having to stabilize, get some work. The more you can lean forward and hinge, the more against gravity you're going to work. So whatever works right for you. Of course, you don't want to lose your balance and pitch forward or anything, land on your face. So lean forward as far as you can comfortably and maintaining balance. Slow and controlled movements. You don't want any momentum. You got about 10 seconds. One row, 2 row, and a fly. All right, 30-second break here. Get rid of your dumbbells. All right, so cardiovascular is up next here. Going to get the heart rate spiked up again. You can jump right into it if you want right now, or catch a breather for another 15 seconds. Remember, cardio, we're just looking to spike the heart rate up. Just some whatever movements work for you. Whether you've got a set of stairs next to you that you want to go up and down slowly, or one aerobic step. Whatever works for you here. Maybe you've got a treadmill or a piece of equipment, rowing machine or elliptical or something right next to you in your workout room. Just jump on that for 2 minutes or so. Dance moves, whatever whatever classes you've done in the past, ballroom or line dancing, Zumba, martial arts, anything that allows you to move consistently for a couple minutes. Get your breathing elevated, get your heart rate elevated. keep moving. And you can do what I'm doing or something different. I'm just doing different moves to keep my heart rate elevated, consistent movements. Kind of depends on your coordination, your balance. You know, if you need to sit in a chair and just move your arms around, depending on, you know, how your balance is or how your knee joints are or any injuries you're working around. Just kind of playing around. Again, whatever works for you. Consistent movement. How fast and vigorous that is up to you. But be safe. Remember what's around you. You know, you don't want anything to trip over. You don't want to catch your feet on your carpet, sort of stuff. Catch your shoes and lose your balance. Fall through your coffee table or something, right? So just, you know, nice and easy. Be safe. Let's keep going here. And we try to go for between, you know, 2.5 minutes or so for the most part. We'll go for a little less than 30 more seconds here. So whatever you can think of. Get your breathing going. Yeah. And if you're getting enough workout without the cardio, and you want to take a seat and just take a break, or pause, you know, push the pause button, whatever works for you. All right, so 30-second break here. All right, we are on to the next one here. So grab a pair of dumbbells, light to medium. All right, so we are on to the hammer curls here to start with. So with a nice firm grip on your dumbbells or cans of soup, or, you know, whatever you're using, make sure that you have dry hands. We're gonna let the arms dangle at the sides, brace our core a little bit, and then curl up this way. And you can do it singles, or you can do them at the same time. All right, or you can alternate. Either way, let's get going here. So all the way bent, and then all the way straight. All the way bent, and all the way straight. Nice and controlled. You're bracing your core. We don't want the hips moving at all, okay? We want to isolate just the elbows. And this is the hammer curl. Think about if you've ever held a hammer smacking a nail with the palm in towards you. That's the position we want here. So again, singles or alternating or at the same time, whatever works for you. And controlled. Your pace can be quick as long as you're not getting any momentum involved, okay? We don't want to swing the arms at all. Again, we just want the elbows moving. So hammer curl, working the brachioradialis, kind of in the upper arm and forearm area. All right, take a break here. Nice. So our second set, we're going to do something different, the reverse curl. This is going to be more palm down. So here, this sort of motion here. Okay, so palm down, the opposite of your traditional curl. Palm down. Same sort of thing as the hammer curls we just did. No momentum, no swing in the arm, no getting the hips involved. Okay, we're just isolating. So bracing the core. All right, a couple more seconds, we'll begin. Make sure to breathe the whole time. Don't hold your breath at all. Dry hands, firm grip, good posture. And here we go. A minute of this. Nice and controlled. All right. Depending on the range of motion of your forearms, you can elect to rotate every time too, and then rotate as you come back up. All right. If your dumbbells are hitting your hips, or if you just don't have a lot of pronation in the forearms, and the rotation where you're rotating the palm downwards, then you can rotate every time, as opposed to if I just keep the palms facing down and back the whole time. Either way is fine. Okay, but we always want, if they're not facing in, they're facing down. That's that reverse curl. 5 more seconds. Keep breathing, and we'll be on to the next exercise. All right, well done. Okay, bent over tricep kickback and hamstring curl is what we're doing here next. So again, keep these same dumbbells. You know, if you need to grab a hold of heavier ones or smaller ones, that can work too, but this next exercise will probably use the same weight here. So bent over, this position here, we're hinging from the hips, okay? Weight is on, you know, kind of our middle feet here. We're gonna allow the head and the chest facing forward, a lot like the squat that we've done before. Elbows are gonna be back, okay? Bring those elbows back as if they're pinched to your sides of your ribs, and then we're gonna straighten the elbows, all right? So once we get in that position, then we begin the exercise here. The tricep kickback. Work on the triceps, the upper, backs of the upper arms, okay? And of course, upper back has to do a little bit of work to hold this position, middle back, lower back, also to help support and hold this position. It's a combination of leaning forward and keeping those elbows back, squeezing them, you know, your shoulder blades together towards your spine. Because what we want is the backs of the arms facing up towards the ceiling, okay? If I'm standing here, I'm not getting quite the work I need. So here, with a combination of this and leaning forward, hinging forward from the hips, I can do this like this, all right? All right, take a break. So you can alternate, you know, alternate if you want to, or just one at a time, or both at the same time like I was doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add hamstring curls. So basically, we're gonna shift weight from side to side and bending your knee as if you're gonna kick yourself in the rear. Okay, your heel doesn't have to touch your rear, of course, but you're just bending your knee as if you were trying to kick yourself in your own butt. All right, leaning forward. So take position. What I'll do is I'll alternate. So one leg, opposite arm. Leg, opposite arm. All right. This one's a lot easier if you piece it out and alternate. If you can do it at the same time, it's all up to you, depending on your coordination. But working that triceps in the upper arm, and then the hamstrings and the backs of the thighs, and then all the other muscles we talked about before having to stabilize. I'm just getting into kind of a rhythm and a cadence here. Feet, you know, good hip width, shoulder width apart at least. 20 seconds. Head and chest are facing forward. I'm looking kind of down in a diagonal or at an angle here. Backs of the arms are burning a little bit. All right. All right, nice job, well done. Whew. Seated lean back, we'll stir the pot next. So get rid of one of your dumbbells, keep one. Again, you know, probably a smaller dumbbell, depending on what you need. All right, taking a seat. Seated lean back will stir the pot. So lean back, this position here. Working the abdominal muscles. Okay, you want to breathe the whole time. Good posture. You're just hinging and leaning back. I'm sitting more on the edge of the chair. And what we're going to do is stir the pot. All right, so with your dumbbell, one dumbbell, two hands, as if you're stirring a big kettle of soup while we lean back. All right, if you need a break, sit upright and you can stir the pot either direction, counterclockwise, clockwise, it doesn't matter. How big that pot is up to you. I can make it a really big pot and get the whole body involved, rotating and leaning to the side and back and then coming up forward, all right? Or I can make it a tiny pot, right? You know, all that about chest height. Arms straightening or keeping the arms bent. It's all up to you. And how far you lean back is up to you also as you do it. All right, take a break here. So again, we're sitting on the edge, not far enough back that I'm not touching the back of the chair. When I lean back, you know, maybe just barely touching it. I don't want to put weight on the back of the chair because I want my abdominal muscles doing the work to hold me, okay? Making sure, you know, that you know if your feet are going to pop up or not, depending on how much weight you have up here, as opposed to how heavy your legs are. All right, so being careful and watching out for that if that does happen, so you don't lose your balance. I've got a mat under my chair so that it's not going to slide on this hardwood. So be careful of making sure your chair doesn't move around also. All right, so second set here. And again, counterclockwise or clockwise, it doesn't matter. I'll get some larger ones in here. And I'm leaning to the sides and then the back. Keeping my feet planted on the ground here though. Stirring a real big pot. And obviously, you know, the heavier dumbbell you have, the harder it's going to be. You know, you can use a kettlebell. If you have, you know, a big gallon jug of water or juice or a bag of flour, you know, that sort of stuff can work too. As long as you have a good, secure, firm grip, dry hands. You don't want to dump this on your feet or your floor. All right, 5 seconds. There you go. All right. Nice job. All right, so about 2.5 minutes or so of cardio. Again, whatever works for you. Getting that heart rate elevated. Getting your breathing elevated. How fast you go is up to you. Just some continuous moving. Continuous moving. Get that heart going. Get those lungs firing up. Here I'm just doing a little bit of uppercut work here. You can do some shadow boxing. Again, whatever you know how to do as far as moving. Maybe you were in some sports and you did drills, or maybe you've got one of those agility ladders on the floor there. Those are fun for some quick feet exercises. A little bit of a ladder climb. The key is to keep moving. Consistent movement, even if it's just a little bit. And if you need to take a break, take a break. It's all up to you. Whatever works for your body. Whatever kind of challenge you're looking for. Ratchet up that intensity, either up or down. Five seconds. All right, nice job. We have bicep curl to chicken wing here. So let's grab a couple dumbbells. Couple dumbbells here. So what we're looking at is your bicep curl. So let me demonstrate here. Bicep curl. Again, bracing those abdominals. Give yourself a good stance with the feet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the hand, dumbbell in each hand, facing my hips, and I'm going to at the same time bend the elbows fully, and then nice and slow, straighten all the way. And what I do a rotation curl here. So forearms and wrists will rotate on the bottom, and then rotate coming on the way up, rotate going down. Okay, so that's your bicep curl. Now what we're going to do is add a chicken wing. Think about it, like a chicken flapping their wings. So we're going to bicep curl up, then at the top, we're going to chicken wing out to the side. Okay, and then back in, and now we straighten those elbows. Bend, chicken wing, elbows come out to the side, about parallel to the floor, and back down. All right. Straighten those elbows, bend those elbows, chicken wing up, chicken wing down, straighten those elbows. Think good posture. Relax those shoulders. About 13 seconds or so. There you go. And just rotating those shoulders, rotating those elbows up and down. All right, take a break there. And again, you can relax your grip if you want to. Give yourself a break. So what we're looking at, bicep, and then here we're getting some good middle deltoid. Upper trapezius having to stabilize a little bit as we do that, especially the heavier the dumbbell you have. So again, nice and control. We're getting some good work on the grip. Again, last thing we want to do is dump those dumbbells on your feet or your floor. So nice firm grip, dry hands. Okay, grab those again. Let's get in position for another minute. Brace those abdominals nice and tight. And we're going to bicep curl, chicken wing up and down. There you go, up and down. And as always, breathing. Nice and controlled with those chicken wings. And with the biceps, we don't want any kind of momentum. So slow and controlled. Again, just the elbows and shoulders moving, no hips, nothing else. Not swinging the arms. 20 seconds. Keep pushing, almost there. And I'm not doing the rotation curl right now. It's a little easier just to bend and straighten. Less of movements to have to try to do to keep a good pace here. All right, nice job here. Okay, so what we need is you're going to need your resistance tubing and a chair. All right, so we've got tubing and a good solid chair, something that you can sit in that's not going to not going to tilt on you or tip on you. I'm sitting more on the front part of this chair, okay? Because what I want to be able to do is lean back slightly to engage the abdominal muscles. So don't sit, against the back of the chair. Sit more on the, front half. So what I'm going to do now is palms down this time on this exercise. I can wrap them again if I want, but again, palms down. Elbows are going to be outside of the body. So what I'm going to do is elbows go back, and I'm going to bring this band right to my chest as those elbows go back, squeezing my shoulder blades together towards my spine. So working the upper back muscles and the rear shoulder, a little bit of biceps in the arms. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a slight lean back. So now I'm getting abdominals kicking in. And then when I feel comfortable, I'm going to add some marching. Again, if your coordination and balance allows, and if your form is looking great, it's a nice slow march. So I'm getting some hip flexors in the front of the hips. Again, abdominals are kicking in. And at any time I can take a break, or I can at least sit upright and just keep with the upper body. And then when I feel like it, get back to the lean back and the march. Okay? All right, take a break there. So again, controlled, whatever speed you can do, whether the legs and the arms sync up or not, doesn't matter. Again, as long as your form is good, as long as you're looking good, elbows are out, palms are down. Okay, elbows are going to be lower than shoulder height, and then think about squeezing those shoulder blades against the spine, and then adding just a little bit of a lean back. How far you lean back is up to you, depending on what your abdominals can do. And then of course just a little bit of marching, not too high on the knees, just enough to get those hip flexors kicking in. Up to you. All right, so I'm gonna lean back. Let's start again. A little bit of a march. I'm gonna slow things down on the upper body and just pull back and squeeze those shoulder blades with one knee up. Again, abdominals are doing a little bit of work, having to stabilize, keep me from falling backwards. And then if I need a break, I just sit upright. All right. Keep breathing, of course. So we're getting upper back muscles, backs of the shoulders. We're getting hip flexors in the front of the hips, abdominal muscles. Keep moving, almost there. All right, nice job, well done. Okay, so you can get rid of your rubber band and your chair and grab one dumbbell again. Something heavier if you have it. Dumbbell or kettlebell, if you've got a bag of flour or sugar, 10-pound bag of flour or sugar, that sort of stuff will work really great too. Backpack with something in it. As long as you can have a good grip and grab it, that's all we're looking for. All right, so here we're going to do something just kind of like luggage storage. This, something a little more functional. Think about if you've got a suitcase or a box or something in your hands, and you've got to store it in different spots. Things that are above your head, maybe a shelf that's chest height, a shelf that's a little lower, different things like that. So we're going to play around and just, whatever kind of pattern. I'm going to grab the dumbbell with both hands. Actually, I'll probably do it this way here. And then I'm just going to reach up, bracing the core. So as I do that, I brace my abdominal muscles. I'm going to, twist only with kind of the feet and the hips as opposed to planting and twisting. So think about if I had to put something up here and then here. So just kind of, again, a little bit of a squat, keeping that low back straight. Okay, just kind of play around. Maybe it's face height. Maybe it's, knee height right in front of you. Keeping that low back straight. Keeping the abdominals tight. Bracing the core. And we're just storing this luggage or this box, different spots. Maybe it's to the side. And there's a little bit of rotation there. Get into a lunge position or a squat position slightly. All right, take a break. So think about, if you're carrying luggage on an airplane and you had to put it up in the overhead bin, or, you've got a, toaster oven in your house that you're putting in a cabinet, chest height or big, potato pot for the bottom shelves, all that sort of stuff. But again, the heavier you can do, the better. And slower and controlled, making sure, again, bracing the abdominals, really using good form, keeping that, low back straight, nothing bowing at all, but always chest out, head up. Okay, let's try it again. And I can squat or get in kind of a slight lunge stance. Just keeping the abdominals tight, back straight, keeping this weight close to you unless you're putting it on something away from you. Normally, you'd walk up to something and place that in, but we're going to allow our arms to straighten out a little bit because what we have is not too heavy for most people. Unless you've got a microwave that you're holding on to right now and you're doing your exercises with that or something. But in general, it's okay to let, the weight come away from your body with this sort of stuff. All right, nice job. So up next, we have another cardio. So getting rid of your dumbbell, clearing out your space, making sure you have water, and you can get going right away or take this little break. All right, I feel like the abdominals have been working well today. Okay. I'll start us out here. We got about 15 seconds of transition, or you can get going right away. Just continuous movement. How fast is all up to you. All right, we're officially going. 2 minutes and 21 seconds left here. A little bit of a shoulder press here. Palms facing in. Knees bending. All right, now I'm going to go kind of a diagonal out to the side. Out to the side and back with the legs, but arms are doing something different. Going to work that coordination and balance. All right, let's get back to some marching, so some ladder climbing. A little more hip flexor work. Let's tire those guys out again. And switch the arms up to chicken wing. Excellent. About 1:30. All right, so keeping those abdominals tight, hands together. Think about a figure 8. A little bit of a rotation in the torso. So good rotation in the torso. Hips are swiveling and moving too. How big things are, as far as how big that figure 8 is, how much swiveling in the hips and the abdominals. Torso, that's all up to you. You can kind of dip in with the hands, get some range of motion here. Just some good consistent motion. All right, let's do some stepping side to side with some uppercuts. So punching up and across your body. Consistent motion. Excellent. All right, let's get back to marching. We got about 30 seconds. Now let's kind of just stepping forward and back. Snap along if you like. It's kind of a little dance. Forward and back, however many steps you feel comfortable, depending on the space you have. A little heel tap here. All right, nice job. Okay, so we're going to work on some balance and cool down here. So nice and easy. Let's start with a little bit of heel walking. So think about bringing your toes up into the air. All right. And if you have, if you don't have a lot of room, you can tick-tock back and forth, or, walking backwards and side to side, walking around in a circle, maybe a figure 8 pattern, whatever works for you. But we're working the shin muscles. We're working some balance, coordination, and then we are also working cool down. This is not cardio, so now, we're still moving, but we're cooling down. Now let's switch it to walking on the toes. So here we're going to give our calves a workout. Same sort of thing. Forward and back, side to side, tick-tocking, whatever works for you. But try to stay on those toes, working the calf muscles. We're cooling down still, some balance involved. Excellent. Keep going here. All right. So what we're looking at here now is some up and over. Think about the sleeping dogs. If you've got 1 or 2 sleeping dogs, you got to step over. Okay, smaller dog, you're just going to step over. How big that dog is up to you. I'm going to step over 3 dogs. That's what I have room for here. And step over 3 dogs on the way back. And again, the bigger the dog, the bigger step you have to take. Gets a little more work to do. But again, we're moving, so we're cooling down. This is working our balance and coordination. Try not to look at your feet or your path that you're walking. Use your peripheral vision. So what we're going to do is we're going to freeze. So I'm going to take a step and then freeze. Dog's about to wake up, I better freeze. Next one, same sort of thing, freeze. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Whatever freeze you want. Step over and freeze into that single leg balance. Now, let's go back and freeze. Catch that balance. You can always do this, with a chair in front of you or down a hallway with a wall to kind of hold on to. Keep it comfortable, keep it safe. We'll go one more way across. And one more. All right, nice, cooling down. Let's keep walking a little bit. Keep moving. Still cooling down. Nice, deep breathing. All right, I think we can safely do some stretches now. You want to make sure that your heart rate's down Below 100 beats per minute is nice to get it to that before you stop moving. All right, so let's do a little stretching. Let's think about leaning back here. I'm going to keep my weight on my back leg. I'm going to dig in the heel on my front leg. Toes and legs are pointed straight in front of me here. And I'm going to, just kind of hinge and lean forward till I get a good stretch behind the thigh, behind my knee on this front leg. You may feel it in your calf a little bit or your rump. We've done some good, hamstring and rear and thigh work today. So nice, good stretch. Good, 15 to 30 seconds is what we're trying for. Let's try the other leg. Make sure to drink plenty of water, especially if you're sweating a lot. Water or some sort of a drink with electrolytes, sports drink or something, especially if it's getting hotter out or you're just sweating a lot. Nice and easy, no jerking, no bouncing. You can even reach toward that foot depending on how much flexibility you have. All right, well done. Let's do another stretch. So here we're going to pelvic tilt like we did when we were laying on the back here. Pelvic tilt, bringing those hips forward, clenching the cheeks together on the rear. That straightens that low back. And then what I'll do is I'll clasp my fingers together, looking at my palms. And I'm going to push my hands away from my body as far as I can. Straightening the elbows all the way, pushing my hands away from my body, rounding out the upper and middle part of my back. Still breathing, always breathing. Go. You might feel a little bit in your forearms. Excellent. Okay, one more stretch here. So we're going to go 90 degree between armpit and ribs and between shoulder and elbow. Angle here, 90 degree angle. And now I'm going to bring my arms back. It's called the field goal position for American football. What a field goal looks like here. So bringing those elbows back, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Chest out, so we're stretching the chest, fronts of the shoulders. You can start bringing those hands together behind the head or behind your ears. Hands together or not, all up to you. Good deep breathing. Let's straighten those elbows. Palms up, thumbs back. And again, reaching back. And now let's dip our fingers backwards. So we're going to bend those wrists back. So we're getting a stretch. You feel that in the wrists and forearms. All right. Give a little shake out. Nice job. All right, well done. Thanks for being here today.